So being a critic on the YouTube, chances are you're gonna have a hot take eventually, which is usually fine as long as you can make your points understandable from where you're coming from. For me, these hot takes have apparently been that Big Hero 6 is mediocre, Brother Bear 1 sucks, Big Hero 6 the series sucks, and Turning Red is actually a pretty good film. Not spectacular or anything, but ooh, my Christian values, ooh, yeah, stuff like that. But I'm willing to bet my entire YouTube channel, that's right, all 5,000 of you scrub lords, that this will not only be my hottest take ever, but quite possibly the most hot take of all time. So hot that even the sun is gonna have to get some shade from how hot this take is. And that take, my friends, is that The Last Airbender is not the worst movie of all time. Yep, as a matter of fact, I even dare say that The Last Airbender is the greatest movie of all time, and everybody who disagrees with me is a cuck! I mean, seriously, have any of you ever even seen a bad movie before? Honestly, every time I see one of these Renos talk about this movie, and they say it's one of the worst, if not the worst movie of all time, it just makes my blood boil. That's why I, a certified real fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, have decided to take it upon myself to defend this movie from all of the unfair criticisms, because that's what real fans do. For years on end, if I must. We all know Avatar: The Last Airbender, don't we? Of course we do. It's one of the most universally beloved shows ever made. Or is it? You see, all of these critics, whenever they review this movie, they always bring up the show. And when they bring up the show, they always talk about how much they love the show. But do you really? Do you? Because from what I've seen, the movie and the first season tell the same story. So let me get this straight, guys. You love this, but you hate this. Newsflash, guys. They're the same thing! Idiot! You can't love this, but hate this at the same time, because it's the same story and characters that we all fell in love with. Why doesn't anyone get that? These critics go on and on about loving these characters, and the story, and the world building, and the comedy, but it's all in this movie, though! There's Aang, Katara, and Sokka, they're there. Zuko and Iroh, Appa, Momo, there's Lord Ozai, there's the Air Temple, there's the Northern Water Tribe. It's all here! So what are you all complaining about? Oh, but they changed the names of the characters. Yeah, because two white dudes mispronounced them all those years ago. You're really gonna get mad at M. Night Shyamalan for trying to be appropriate to the culture? Sounds to me like you're all just racist. Also, people say this movie isn't funny, but as a real fan of Avatar, I disagree wholeheartedly. I think this movie is very funny.
Katara, do not hit that spear!
Seriously, you real fans must be dead inside or something. I hear people complain about the acting and the direction of this movie, but it's meant to be a more serious take on the story. The original show was animated, which means it's meant only for kids. Now, I was a kid when I watched it, and that's when I fell in love with it. But I can't watch it now because I'm not a kid anymore. That's called growing up. Something you hacks should try sometime. That's what makes the movie so good though, because now that it's in live action, I can watch my favorite show again. Now as a fully grown adult. Disney must have seen this and realized just how brilliant of an idea it was to make their animated movies live action. Because seriously, who wants to watch The Lion King again now that they're not kids anymore? Not me, bucko. But now I can. Thank you, Disney. You're forgiven for all the homophobia. With this being a more serious take on the story, it makes sense for Sokka to be more serious in this. In a kid's show like the original, they can't actually show the war. Not really. Sure, there are corpses in like one episode, but was there any blood? Any gore? You need blood and gore to show people to tell an actual war story, guys. Don't you know that? Oh, you didn't know that? Well, then maybe you should leave the franchise to the real experts. Pick up your final paychecks and return your IDs because you've shown us that you don't know anything and you fail miserably. Now that we're in live action, it makes sense to make Sokka more serious because now the character will have seen real war.
What would you do if they tried taking me away?
I'd kill them all.
This is clearly the reaction of someone who's witnessed real war. And yeah, I know the movie's only PG rated and we don't actually get to see that stuff ourselves, but here's the thing, we don't have to. Just like the Kyoshi Warriors. Yeah, everybody complained that the Kyoshi Warriors weren't in the movie when they were only in like one episode in book 1. Sure, they play a bigger part later in the story, but this is book 1. They're not really that important, so it makes sense why we wouldn't see them. Oh, wait a minute, yes we did. In a deleted scene for the movie, the Kyoshi Warriors do actually appear. You people would have known this if you actually did your research, but since all of you have pretty much proven you're not actual real fans of Avatar, I don't blame you for not knowing this. But Razor, it's a deleted scene, meh. So what? They still made it! As I already said, this is the same story as the show, and the Kyoshi Warriors were in the show, weren't they? That means they're in the movie too. Who cares if we don't actually get to see them in the actual final cut? Being a real fan of the franchise, I did my research and found this glorious scene. Now, is it different? Sure, but what do you people want? The same exact thing all over again? I like that they changed it. It's different. Also, it's Avatar. Therefore, it's good. It makes sense to everything that came before, and it's not as idiotic as you jerks try to make it out to be. Every plot hole you complain about has an explanation. Every illogical thing you question makes total sense and is consistent with everything that was established prior to it if you actually use that piece of meat in your head that you call the brain. Just because you didn't understand it, that doesn't mean it's terrible. The problem is not in the movie, it's in you. Everyone's let their nostalgia block their common fucking sense. They always have to compare the movie to the show, and I don't think that's fair at all. Again, you can't love this and yet hate this. That makes no sense at all. You people act like you love Avatar, and yet you reject this for some reason. Again, it's bullshit, goddammit! I'm not saying the movie's a masterpiece or anything. It has its own fair share of mistakes. For example, no cabbage merchant. Yeah, that genuinely sucks. But other than that, I can't really think of anything that bad about it. You still get to see the awesome kung fu. The effects are pretty cool. Plus, it was in 3D. 3 freaking D. Who cares if everyone was doing it at the time? It was still cool, damn it! Shut up! I could keep going on and on and on, but honestly, I don't see the point. It's been nearly 12 years, and yet everyone thinks they love Avatar: The Last Airbender. They think they fully appreciate everything about it, but by excluding this movie and even wishing for its destruction, they've just proven they actually hate it. Rather sad, isn't it, guys? It sucks watching this movie be so unfairly represented the way it is by people who either pretend they know what they're talking about or are just genuinely misguided. It's such a shame. And don't even get me started on Korra and its hate, or the hate that's coming on the upcoming live-action series on Netflix. That hasn't even come out yet, you jerks. You're not even giving it a chance. All because of your blind nostalgia for the original show. Well, you know what? All of you are just Avatar purists. You're not real fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender because you're not even willing to look past one single piece of it. But whatever, this video will probably just be disliked by a bunch of fake fans who don't want to accept the truth and just follow the herd like the sheep they are. I've said my piece. Will this destroy all of my credibility on the site? Probably, but at least I'll have my dignity. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to talking about an actual bad movie. All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. That one genuinely is bad. No joke.
Because of you.